There's been a sudden and unexpected shakeup behind the scenes at Rangers, and it's one that raises serious questions about the club's direction moving forward. Let's break this down. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Just months after arriving with an impressive CV and plenty of expectation, David French has already left his role as Chief Commercial Officer. This is a man who was brought in during a major recruitment drive, someone with experience at global organizations like Nokia, Manchester United, and major venues across Europe and Asia. And yet, in less than 5 months, he's gone. Let that sink in. This wasn't a long-term project that fizzled out over years. This was a rapid exit, and it immediately signals that something behind the scenes at Ibrox isn't quite settled. French had only taken over the role following Sean Jefferson's interim spell, stepping into a key position that plays a huge part in the club's commercial growth and financial strategy. His appointment in December looked like a statement of intent, but now it's turned into a major twist. So what happens next? Well, Fraser Thornton has now stepped in to oversee the department on an interim basis, working closely with new CEO Jim Gillespie, who has only just begun his own role at the club. All of this is happening under the watch of Chairman Andrew Kavanagh, who is becoming increasingly hands-on in shaping Rangers' future. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Kavanagh has already made it clear in a recent open letter that the club is moving in a very different direction structurally. He confirmed that Rangers will not be appointing a sporting director to replace Kevin Thelwell, a decision that goes against the model many modern clubs rely on. Instead, the vision is clear: leaner, sharper, more direct leadership. Kavanagh didn't hold back when addressing supporters either, saying, "Rangers supporters are direct, hard-working, passionate and emotional. I want our supporters to see themselves in the club." But it's this next part that really stands out, and possibly explains the kind of changes we're now seeing. The executive team is committed to being smaller, nimbler, and more entrepreneurial. If there is a hole to be dug, we want people fighting over shovels. That's not just a quote, that's a complete shift in philosophy. Less bureaucracy, fewer outside consultants, more accountability, more grit. It sounds bold, but it also sounds like a club still trying to find its identity off the pitch. Because when a senior figure like French leaves this quickly, it naturally raises questions. Was it a mismatch in vision? Did the structure change around him? Or is this part of a wider overhaul happening quietly behind the scenes? What we do know is that Rangers are in the middle of a significant reset at executive level. With Gillespie settling in as CEO, Thornton stepping up temporarily, and Kavanagh tightening his grip on decision-making, the club is clearly trying to reshape its leadership from the top down. And perhaps most telling of all, Kavanagh emphasized reconnecting with the club's past, its identity and its standards. A culture of winning means returning to Rangers' historical DNA and standards. That's a powerful statement, but it also hints that those standards may have slipped in recent years. So this isn't just about one resignation. This is about a club redefining itself behind the scenes, making bold calls, trimming its structure, and trying to rebuild something that aligns more closely with what Rangers believe they should be. The big question now is simple. Is this the start of a smarter, more focused Rangers, or a sign of instability at the very top? In other news, Matondo's time at Rangers is coming to a quiet but decisive end, and in truth, it's a move that has felt inevitable for some time. The Welsh winger has now agreed terms with Norwegian side SK Brann, bringing an underwhelming Ibrox chapter to a close 3 months before the natural expiry of his contract. While the deal won't generate an immediate transfer fee, Rangers have negotiated potential performance-related bonuses, ensuring there remains at least some long-term upside to a departure that, on the surface, signals a clean break rather than a financial win. This is not a sudden development. Interest from Brann had been building in the background, particularly after Matondo fell out of favour under head coach Danny Roll. Opportunities have been scarce this season. Just 3 appearances tell the story of a player who has slipped firmly down the pecking order. For someone once brought in with long-term expectations under Giovanni van Bronckhorst, the contrast is stark. There was already a sense in January that the end was near. Matondo came close to securing a move during the winter transfer window, but negotiations failed to reach completion. That temporary reprieve did little to change his standing within the squad. Having spent the second half of last season on loan at Hannover 96, he returned to Glasgow needing to reset his Rangers career, but instead found himself further marginalised. Now, the move to Norway offers a fresh start. Brann, despite their difficult opening to the elite Syrian campaign, present an opportunity for regular football and a chance to rebuild momentum. Ironically, they are not unfamiliar opposition. They defeated Rangers in Danny Roll's first match in charge back in October, a result that underlined early challenges within his tenure. From Rangers' perspective, the decision is as much about squad evolution as it is about Matondo himself. With no contract extension on the table and little prospect of reintegration into the starting picture, an early exit clears space, both financially and structurally, ahead of a significant summer rebuild. That rebuild is already quietly taking shape. While outgoing movement begins with Matondo, attention is also turning toward potential arrivals. Dundee defender Luke Graham remains firmly on the radar, with Rangers scouts continuing to monitor his development closely. His performances at Dens Park have not gone unnoticed, and further observation came at international level with Scotland's under-21 side. However, no immediate move is expected, with Graham understood to be one of several defensive options being assessed ahead of the transfer window. Alongside recruitment planning, Roll and his staff are also focused on maximising the current squad during a crucial period of the season. Preparations are underway for a warm weather training camp in Spain, a strategically timed break that could prove vital. With no Scottish Cup semi-final to prepare for following their quarter-final defeat to Celtic, Rangers have a rare, uninterrupted window to work intensively on the training ground. For a coaching team that arrived mid-season without the benefit of a full pre-season, this camp represents more than just a change of environment. It is an opportunity to implement tactical ideas, build cohesion, and sharpen fitness levels ahead of the decisive final stretch of the campaign. Before that, however, there is still immediate business to handle. A home clash against Dundee United is next on the agenda, followed by a trip to face Falkirk. Beyond that lies the final 5 matches of the Premiership season, fixtures that will ultimately define how Roll's first months in charge are judged. In that broader context, Matondo's departure feels symbolic. It marks the gradual phasing out of players who no longer fit the direction of the team, while hinting at a more deliberate, considered rebuild behind the scenes. For Matondo, it's a chance to start again. For Rangers, it's another step toward reshaping the future. Ultimately, this is a move that suits all parties. For Matondo, it brings an end to a frustrating spell defined by limited opportunities and stalled momentum, replacing it with a promise of regular football and a clean slate in Norway. For Rangers, it represents a necessary step in streamlining the squad, moving on a player who no longer fits the manager's plans, while creating space for a more targeted rebuild in the months ahead. With a crucial run of fixtures still to play, and a summer overhaul already taking shape behind the scenes, this is unlikely to be the last piece of business at Ibrox. Instead, it feels like the beginning of a wider transition, one that will define Danny Roll's Rangers moving forward. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We post all the latest Rangers news every single day, so join our fast growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.